So this one I didn't even plan. I just had the idea as I finished the last video. So I'll just, right off the back of that one, I'll record it. I talked about using tools strategically, and one of the side effects of that is that you will need less resource because you are addressing the root causes, you are decreasing the number of incidents from that. And I'll talk about the BATAC effect next. I don't remember if I covered it in a previous video. I'll talk about it now. So if you know what a BATAC is, it's that reflex testing thing where you have these arms with these circles that light up, and they tend to be right around your peripheral vision, and you have to kind of tap them when they line up, and the idea is to hit as many of them as possible, and they're all kind of all over the place. If you start fixing root causes, you do not just reduce the number of symptoms of vulnerabilities that you have. You reduce the number of kinds of vulnerabilities that you will have. So if your identity is sorted 100%, you are not going to have identity-related issues anymore. Yeah, that's nothing is perfect, but it can be to the point where it's so minimized that it's actually not worth putting the resource towards it, or at least within a small segment of the organization, this we can structure in such a way where we absolutely eliminate all identity risk. And that means that on the BATAC, that circle will no longer light up. And that's one less thing to worry about. And eventually you're just going to have 2 or 3 circles. And it's so easy because they're right in front of your face. So by taking this approach, you actually increase your visibility and your hit rate to the symptoms coming from the issues that you haven't fixed yet. Okay? But that means being very altruistic to the business. I lost my train of thought a bit. And one of the biggest problems, this is the one I want to talk about. I've been turned down for a lot of CISO roles because the job listing was something about, managing a budget of maybe 7 or 8 million pounds with a team of 25, and so on and so forth. And then you look at the organization and you look at their problems, and there are many problems, but realistically, if you were kind of altruistic and want to be kind of lean and efficient for the business, you look at it, it's like, well, I've been able to solve these problems in the past with a budget of maybe 2, not 7, and a team of 6 realistically is sufficient for this. And then you don't get the job because you're not senior enough. But it's not that you're not senior enough, it's that you're too efficient. And unfortunately, security is something that the business doesn't understand. They don't know what this resource does, where it goes to. I remember being at an event 4 years ago now, and they asked these senior leadership teams why they funded their cybersecurity functions, and the most common answer was, and I quote, to make the security people go away. I often joke it's the best job in the world because no one really knows what you're supposed to be doing. No one knows whether you're actually doing it. And if you screw up badly enough, they double your budget. And unfortunately, this mentality, this fiefdom building, and we often tend to be technical people and poor communicators. So we're not really good at mingling with management. Most of us, our performance metrics are based on our salary, my budget, how many people I have. That's what makes me important. Realistically, you want to get paid in equity, how much skin in the game you've got, and do everything you can to help the bottom line of that business and not to be a drain on it. And I see all the time security people arguing for more budget, and arguably the way they're spending the existing budget is highly inefficient. And yeah, that's where the value should be. So we do need to kind of accept that that's not an acceptable way forward. And I think businesses need to be educated to understand how security works. And one of my favorite things about this quality approach is these are 40, 50-year-old concepts. I gave a lot of these concepts to the advisory board of MasterCard, which has definitely been my most senior audience last year. And when I asked them, does this make sense to you? Or rather, does this make more sense to you than any security presentation you've ever heard? The entire room just started nodding. So they get this, they get this. But we have to want to be business people. You know, we have to want to be contributors to the business and not just see the business as an opportunity to do cyber stuff. I'll talk about my cars and coffee analogy in the next video just for fun. And I think it's very important to do that. And we have to move away from this mentality of, you know, I'm a cyber guy, I get big salary, I get big team, I get big budget, I'm important, and become real business contributors. Because I think, you know, you see, especially in the States, you see these salaries, you know, mid six figures. There's a reason for that. And they are business people. And I see a lot of security people complain, oh, how could he ever be a CISO? How could that person ever be a CISO? He's not even a techie guy, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but he understands business and he solves business problems. So he or she has way fewer security issues. And we need to change our mentality to that. And quite frankly, it's beneficial. You know, it's quite lucrative to be seen as someone who's part of the business. And I think that's one of my favorite things is people who've read my books, listened to my talks, and then implemented some of the stuff, and then come back to me 6 months, 12 months later, and someone's like, I have been so elevated in the business because they now listen to me. What I say makes sense to them. They've really taken me in. They see me as a contributor, not as the head techie fighting the hoodies. And that's what, you know, our personal and our career goals should be as CISOs. Yeah, I'll leave that one at that. And I'll fire up the cars and coffee analogy in a minute. Cheers.